My bedroom door when I got home from my 12-hour shift at the hospital. Final notice, pay $2,000 within 48 hours or vacate premises. It was signed by my father in his angry, slashing handwriting. I'm Jasmine, 31, a respiratory therapist who'd been living in what I thought was my parents' house for 3 years, paying them $2,000 monthly in rent while my younger brother Tyler lived in the master suite without paying a dime. Dad, what is this? I found him in the living room, watching golf while Tyler played video games on the 75-inch TV I wasn't allowed to use. You're behind on rent again, he said without looking up. This is a business arrangement, Jasmine. You can't expect free rides like your brother. Free rides? I paid you over $50,000 in 3 years. Tyler snorted from the couch. Maybe get a better job instead of complaining. Some of us contribute in other ways. His other ways consisted of failed business ventures my parents funded and occasional lawn mowing that he treated like Olympic training. But he was the golden child, the son who could do no wrong, while I was just the daughter who should be grateful for a roof over her head. The rent's going up next month, Mom announced, entering with Tyler's dinner on a tray. Housing prices are increasing. $2,500 seems fair. Fair? I stared at her. Tyler pays nothing. Tyler's saving for his future, she said, as if that explained everything. You're older. You should be more financially stable by now. That night, I sat in my cramped room, the smallest in the house, barely fitting a twin bed and desk, and calculated everything I'd paid them. $50,000 in rent, plus utilities they insisted I cover, plus groceries I bought but wasn't allowed to eat once they were in the family fridge, plus the repairs I'd paid for when the roof leaked directly over my room. Something felt wrong, more wrong than usual. The next morning, I called in sick and drove to the county records office. I told myself I was being paranoid, but something my grandmother had said before she died kept echoing in my mind. Make sure you get what's yours, Jazz. Don't let anyone take it from you. The clerk pulled up the property records for our address. I expected to see my parents' names. Instead, I saw Jasmine Marie Walker, sole owner, transferred via inheritance from Dorothy Walker. Date, 3 years ago. My hand shook as I requested a certified copy, then another, then the original will from probate court. Grandma Dorothy had left me the house I'd been paying rent to live in, the house my parents had been collecting money from me to occupy. The will was specific, to my granddaughter Jasmine, who cared for me when no one else would. I leave my home at 445 Sycamore Lane. May she find the peace there that she gave me in my final years. There was more. Grandma had also left me $75,000 in a trust account, meant to help with house maintenance and taxes. The trustee was supposed to be her lawyer, Mr. Garrison, but somehow, my parents had been listed as trustees instead. I drove straight to Mr. Garrison's office. He was in his 70s now, but his mind was sharp as ever. Jasmine, he said, surprised, I've been trying to reach you for years. Your parents said you moved abroad. I've been living in Grandma's house, my house, apparently. His face went pale. They told me you didn't want it, that you'd signed it over to them for safekeeping. I never signed anything. He pulled out a file, thick with documents. There it was, a signature that looked like mine but wasn't. The formation of the J was wrong. The W was too neat. I'd known my parents were unfair, but forgery? Fraud? This is a federal crime, Mr. Garrison said quietly. They've been collecting rent on a property they don't own. They've been accessing trust funds meant for you. We need to contact the authorities. They're my parents, I said, though the words felt hollow. Who've been stealing from you for 3 years? That evening, I returned home with Mr. Garrison, 2 police officers, and a locksmith. My parents were in the kitchen, Dad preparing his eviction paperwork against me while Mom cooked Tyler's favorite meal. Jasmine, Dad started, if you're here to beg, I'm here to inform you that you're trespassing, I said, placing the deed on the table. This is my house, has been for 3 years. Mom laughed. Don't be ridiculous. Mr. Garrison stepped forward. Mrs. Walker, I'm Dorothy Walker's attorney. This house was left to Jasmine. You've been illegally collecting rent from the rightful owner. The silence stretched like a taut wire. Tyler wandered in, drawn by the commotion. What's going on? He asked, then saw the police. What did Jasmine do now? Your parents have been committing fraud, Officer Martinez explained. They've been charging rent to the legal owner of this property and stealing from her trust fund. Dad's face cycled through red, white, and purple. This is our house. We've lived here for 30 years. You lived here as guests of Dorothy Walker, Mr. Garrison corrected. She allowed you to stay while she was alive. Upon her death, the house passed to Jasmine. You've known this for 3 years. Mom sank into a chair. We were protecting it for her. She wasn't ready to own the house Grandma left me. The one you've been charging me $2,000 a month to live in? My voice cracked. You've stolen over $50,000 from me, plus the trust funds. $75,000 from the trust, Mr. Garrison added, all documented, every withdrawal requiring forged signatures. Tyler finally understood. Wait, this is Jasmine's house? But we said what we needed to. Dad snapped. To keep this family together. By stealing from me, you abandoned your grandmother. Mom suddenly screamed. We took care of her. I spent every weekend with her for 2 years, I said quietly. I drove her to chemo. I held her hand through radiation. Where were you? Where was Tyler? You visited twice. Christmas and Easter. The officer stepped forward. We need you to come to the station for questioning, Officer Martinez said to my parents. You can come voluntarily, or, this is insane. Dad stood, his chair scraping. She's our daughter, who you've been systematically defrauding, the officer replied. As they were escorted out, Tyler turned to me, his golden boy persona finally cracking. Where am I supposed to go? Maybe get your own place, I said. I hear rent's about $2,000 a month. The investigation revealed more than I could have imagined. My parents had not only stolen my rent and trust fund but had been claiming the house on their taxes, getting deductions they weren't entitled to. They'd taken out a home equity loan using forged documents, though thankfully it had been rejected due to inconsistencies. The criminal trial was swift. The evidence was overwhelming. Bank records showing monthly deposits of my rent checks. The forged signatures. The trust fund withdrawals. They pled guilty to avoid maximum sentences. 2 years probation, full restitution, and 300 hours of community service each. The civil case got me back the $50,000 in rent plus the $75,000 from the trust, with interest and damages. Their own house, their actual house, had to be sold to pay for it. Tyler, stripped of his enablers, had to face reality. He moved in with our aunt and got his first real job at 28. He called me once, angry and bitter. You destroyed our family, he accused. No, Tyler. I just stopped letting them destroy me. I changed the locks, painted the walls, and turned the master bedroom, Tyler's former gaming paradise, into an art studio. The house felt different without the weight of their disappointment, their constant reminders that I wasn't enough while Tyler was everything. 6 months later, I was gardening in what used to be Mom's prized rose garden when Mr. Garrison stopped by. I found something, he said, holding an envelope. Dorothy left you a letter. It was supposed to be given with the house, but... He trailed off. I opened it with dirty hands, not caring about the smudges. My dearest Jazz, it read in Grandma's shaky handwriting. If you're reading this, you've finally learned the truth. I watched them dim your light for years, making you pay for love that should be free. The house isn't just walls and rooms, it's your sanctuary from those who would drain you dry. I know they'll try to take it. That's why I made the will ironclad and videotaped my testimony with Mr. Garrison. Check his safe, there's proof I was of sound mind, proof of what I wanted. You were the only one who visited without wanting something. The only one who loved me for me. So I'm giving you what they never would, a place where you matter most. Live freely, darling girl. The roses know how to bloom without permission. So do you. All my love, Grandma Dorothy. I cried there in the garden, not from sadness but from validation. She'd seen it all. She'd known. That evening, I hosted my first dinner party. Friends filled the dining room where I'd never been welcome. We laughed in the kitchen I'd been banned from. We watched movies on the TV I'd been forbidden to touch. Your house is beautiful, my friend Maria said. Yes, I replied, looking around at the space that had witnessed my humiliation and now held my triumph. It really is. The house was mine. It had always been mine. But more than that, my life was mine. No more rent for existing. No more charges for taking up space. No more payments for the crime of not being Tyler. I kept Grandma's letter framed in the hallway, a reminder that someone had seen my worth even when my own parents couldn't. And every morning, when I walked freely through my own home, I whispered a thank you to the woman who'd given me more than just property. She'd given me proof that I deserved to exist without paying for the privilege.